Hey, welcome back to the Confidad podcast. My name is Dan Tinquist, your host. So grateful that you chose to join us today. We'll begin this episode like we do every single episode and talk through our fatherhood mindset. Remind you what's true, remind me what's true, and embrace it as we embody this truth with and for our kids. I am the only one who can fulfill the father role I have, so I choose to do it well. I get to show up well for my kids. Imperfection is reality. Ownership is a choice. Today is brand new, and so is tomorrow. I am wholly loved, so I will love wholly. Today, I want to talk to you about seeing requiring proximity. This is kind of zooming in on the time well spent method that I taught on a few weeks ago. And the idea is when we spend our time well with our kids, what that looks like is spending time seeing them, spending time hearing them, and then spending time knowing them. It's a little bit like ethereal, 30,000 feet. So I want to give you some handles on this obscure topic of what is seeing. What do you mean like seeing my kids? Well, first off, I want to remind us, like, most humans do things in their life to be seen, heard, and known, to find belonging, to be understood, to understand that, like, I am significant in society, like I matter, right? Mattering matters. And if we want our kids to know that they matter, know that they're understood, know that they belong in our family, one really practical way of doing that is the time well spent method. 3 really practical things we can incorporate into our daily life is seeing our kids, hearing our kids, and knowing our kids. For today, we're just going to focus in on seeing. We'll move to knowing, hearing as the episodes progress. Here's why seeing requires proximity. We're not just looking through a telescope at our kids, okay? And we're also not analyzing them with a microscope. It is using your plain old eyeballs and paying close attention. So many parents that have, like, our empty nesters, have said to me over the years, oh, I wish I could just stop the clock. I wish I could rewind time and go back and do it again and spend more time with my kids. And I hear that and I think about the reality that there's no such thing. You cannot stop the clock. You cannot rewind. You can't go back in time. You can't stop the clock. But can you slow yourself down? Can you stop yourself? Totally. That's what the time well spent method is all about. These 5-minute windows 3 times a day of stopping myself and choosing to be in my kids' element and present with them. Okay? So the tactic we use here is stopping like ourselves, slowing down and saying, okay, I'm going to just use my plain old eyeballs and I'm going to observe them in their element. Alone as individuals, one-on-one with us or one-on-one with our spouse, interacting with others, whether they have siblings or friends, coaches, teachers, and understanding that, like, our eyes are a really powerful tool to gain insight about who our kids are. You can watch them, like, make their breakfast or pour their milk or whatever it is. Like, are they learning things each day? And are we slowing down enough and taking enough time to observe and go, my gosh, look at that. They couldn't do that 2 weeks ago and now they can. And then choosing to celebrate that. Are we watching what outfits are they picking out and what kind of things are they choosing as they go through the day? What toys are they playing with? What books do they want to read? What shows do they want to watch? Understanding that using our eyes as tools to find things about our kids that we don't yet know, it gives us like a bridge into understanding who they are better and better. You know, maybe you have this little box that you put your kids in, because labels are super helpful in human society. People knock labels all the time. Like, I get it. I hate being labeled. I hate being put in a box. But the reality is they're helpful. Like, we have Democrat and Republican labels because it's helpful to understand, like, oh, this says I stand here on this issue or these issues and I stand over here. And, like, we think that they're dividing, but they're just labels. Like, they're just ways of helping humans understand each other, right? The problem is when we use these labels to limit each other. Maybe your kid is in dance, and you go, "Oh, she's our little dancer," and you just say that all the time. You introduce her like that. You say, "Oh, this is Kate. She's our little dancer. She loves to dance. She's so beautiful on the. It's just wonderful, you know." But I'm wondering, like, does your kid always fit the little box that you put them in? Kate might be a really good little dancer, but have you seen her enough to see like maybe there's something else? Okay, we'll get to that lesson a little bit later, but sometimes these boxes we put our kids in, these labels that we put on them, aren't actually helpful for them launching, aren't helpful for them becoming confident, strong, healthy, interdependent adults, because they feel boxed in and they feel like they can't do anything other than what fits in that box, because then I'll disappoint mom and dad. Okay, so we'll get there. But as for today, are we observing something that doesn't match the box? Where am I wrong about this? Where am I right about this? Understanding who our kids are requires us to watch them, to observe them. And this isn't like creepy, weird, like I'm going to just sit there and watch them. What are you doing, Dad? Nothing. It's just simply finding ways to create space, to show up and observe them in their element. Okay, so we can't do this, like I said, from afar. We can't do this in a microscope, or they'll feel, there's that thing in science where, like quantum physics, where say, as soon as something is being observed, it changes the behavior of the thing being observed, right? That's totally true with our kids. So we got to be a little covert in this, in a way of like, oh, I'm not actually watching, but I am watching to a degree, to just gain more understanding and a deeper understanding, deeper knowledge of who they are. So spend a little bit of time today. I want to empower you. Like, you don't have to know the time well spent method. You don't have to have that habit tracker app and have it all downloaded and know what you're doing specifically today to start this process. When you get home today, first thing, greet your child. Say hi to them. Ask them about their day. And then just spend 5 minutes, 3 minutes, kind of observing them. What toy are they playing with? What story are they reading? What show are they watching? Who are they as they interact with the other human beings around them? And maybe after that, later on, take some notes on it and just kind of say, wow, I really recognized this. I really understood this new thing about my child that I've never really noticed before. Because parenting with intention isn't simply just wishing or wanting or hoping that you'll show up as a good parent. It means actually taking the actions and doing the little things day in, day out with intention to know your kid better and become the dad that your kids need, right? That's what we're here for. We're here to show up well for our kids. We're here to be intentional. And so I've maybe mentioned this before, but one of the practices that I teach my clients is every night, end of the day, spend like 3 to 5 minutes journaling with a pen and paper or Remarkable or whatever, but make sure you have a utensil in your hand, a writing utensil, and something to write with, okay? And write down one parenting win today and one parenting fail. And that really starts to build awareness in who you are as a dad and how you're showing up for them, okay? And as you're doing the time well spent method, as you're looking at like, what did I notice today with my eyes that was new? Incorporate that into your journaling, and you'll start to see a picture of who your kids are and who they're becoming as you continue to do this with consistency and intention. So may you be empowered today as you go about your day, becoming the dad that your kids need, giving yourself grace and failure, and just drive to continue to grow and move forward as a dad. Thanks for showing up. We'll see you in the next episode.